artist. Just like anyone could be a mathematician, anyone could be an artist. I promise you, if you spend 100 hours every month, by the end of the year, you will hit an amazing artist.
Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Talk podcast, episode 12.
Right?
With Mr. Abdullah.
That's right.
How are you?
Good.
So, how we met is actually a funny story. I actually was begging for someone to interview. Okay. He told me, let me think. Okay, and then suddenly, like 2 days ago, he told me, I have a guy for you. He told me he's an artist. So okay. And then he just sent me your phone number. Just the phone number. But I told him, who is he? What does he do? Can you send me pictures, anything? They go, okay. And then he sent me on Instagram. No.
Yeah.
Still no. Then I was flicking through Instagram and I saw a lot of comics, cartoon. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, tell us about yourself.
Oh boy, I hate that question. It's always in interviews.
How did the passion
For drawing, since I was a little kid. Since really small, I just like drawing. I love drawing, and I was always looking at like comic books, novels, and I want to do that. I want to do like that. Around 6th grade, I even know the comic. It's a Superman comic, The Death of Superman. It's a big event that happened in 1993. That's the one that made me, because I drew the cyborg Superman. It was like an evil version of Superman. He was like really complicated, cyborg, mechanical arms, and for a 12-year-old, I think, it was pretty accurate, with all the parts I did. So I had a talent that I could reproduce from a picture really well. Yeah, and I just draw my whole life. That's it.
Was it freehand or was
Yeah,
it
just like that.
out of the blue?
Yeah, I mean the comic was in front of me. I had that as a reference.
Yeah.
Issues Superman issue 77. I even know the artist named Dan Jurgens. Still remember to this day. But I wanted to go to art school. I wanted to learn, but that opportunity never came up, never happened. So I ended up in as an architect, as a student. I got my architecture degree. I practiced architecture for about 12 years. I left it 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I left it 3 years ago, from 2008 to 2020. From then, I've been a freelance artist, just been surviving on my art.
So you're an architect?
Yeah.
I'm an architect too.
No crap.
Yeah.
I was about to say no shit. Can I curse?
Go ahead. Fuck. Go ahead, say whatever you
Okay.
So, like, one of the questions was,
Where'd you study?
IAU, in my university.
Okay, cool.
Look, one of the questions was art versus architecture. What a coincidence.
Why? Just
Because-
for your own curiosity.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I'm an architect, and architects are artists. Some. And
Yeah.
a bachelor, and like Europe or Egypt even, architects graduate from with a Bachelor of Art.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's actually considered Bachelor of Arts. If you don't know, it's actually Bachelor's of Science or Engineering. I think just recently in the U.S., architecture became a STEM field. Before it wasn't. It was an art.
BR.
Yeah, it was BR. Yeah, it was related to arts degree. But I think like in the last 4 to 5 years, I read some news article. I think it is now STEM.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, architecture is so dense. It's a really great field. I love studying. I love reading about history of architecture. I'm really into history of architecture. Don't like practicing it.
This is perfect. Okay, so you're an artist. You
Yeah.
study architecture,
Yeah.
but you don't like architecture.
I don't like practicing.
You don't like practicing. Why?
I think first I just don't like the concept of going to an office. Force yourself to wake up, just early in the morning, drive, and then that whole thing just wasn't me. That's not my vibe. I don't know. I just felt like I'm being forced to do it all. And I don't like working for people, which is why I'll never be a business, or I'll never run my own company, because I don't like being a boss. You have to make decisions that are not popular. I don't want to ever fire someone, but you have to survive. But yeah, I also don't like working for people. I like working with, collaborating. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised. Because first I didn't say anything. I'm really surprised.
Yeah.
Wow. So okay. You have a 12-year experience, right?
Yeah.
Where did you work? What did you work on? Did you put your passion in art, in architecture?
Kind of. I was here and there. My CV is all over the place. I was first in a design office, then I switched to an oil and gas company, an EPC company in Jebel. That was for almost 3 years. Then I went to back to design office, then went back to oil and gas, then went back to then I went to contracting.
Okay.
This is my 5th company now, and then I went to food and beverage. That was my last company. It was in the food and beverage industry. I was designing and building coffee shops, restaurants, stuff like that. And I finished my contract, and I told them, yeah, I'm done. I'm not there, but
That's it.
that last company was my worst experience. Maybe part of the problem is me, because like I said, I just don't like that whole environment. It was going against the grain. But I did make a lot of good contacts, a lot of good friends. Still in touch with some of them, yeah. But it was hard for me to take it serious, because the whole time I wanted to be a cartoonist, the whole time. So that also probably interfered with me becoming a good architect, I guess you should say, or a good career. In the back of my head, I'm always thinking I want to be an artist, I want to be a comic. I want to make my own stories. I don't want to sit in my office and do this.
That's the complete opposite of me. I always dreamt of like wearing a suit and go to an office every morning.
That's good. That's good. I mean, that's for you. Like okay. Sometimes like my last company, right? I didn't want to lose my artistic skills, because I would work from morning till evening. There was a little break in the afternoon. The hours were horrendous.
No.
Yeah.
No, not like from 8 to 5, 9 to 5.
No, it was from like 8 to 1. Then we had like a few hours break. Then back 4 or 5 till 8, 9. Not all the time, but a few days of the week. 6 days a week as well. We only had 1 day a weekend. My entire career, I've never had a 2-day weekend. That really messed with my head. And if I did have a 2-day weekend, they took the hours of that 1 day, and they put it for the And the reason they say is because it's contracting.
You need to work 48 hours a week.
Yeah, but contracting, they're building 6 days a week. Only Friday, they don't work, and they say we're forcing to work 6 days because we're paying for the rent of the equipment, the machines, and the labor. So we don't want to be idle for 2 days. Let's let them be idle for 1 day. That's not my problem. I want my weekend. That's you guys figure it out. This is what I mean by I didn't like working in an office. Just one reason out of many. Where was that? Yeah, I want to tell you something. My last company, okay? So what I do is so I try to find time to always practice. If you don't practice your art, you regress as an artist. You have to constantly work. So any spare time, I just do my little doodles, and I do it on post-it notes, like little small post-it notes. No one can see it. When the boss comes, I just slide it like that. And then I did so many post-it notes, like maybe close to 100 of them. Just all severe, all just practice sketches. Yeah, it's in my Instagram. If you go back 3 years, 4 years, you'll find it.
I haven't been that back, and I've been. What's the last thing I saw? The last thing was the comic, which was the superhero one.
Like a comic, just 3-page comic I did of a superhero?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was like a sneak peek or something. It was just 3 pages.
What was it about?
I
I don't remember. I can't remember as well.
read it 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I'll go back and check.
If I can't remember, then it must not have been that impressive.
I'm enjoying this. I'm so surprised. A fellow architect.
Yeah.
Wow, that he's working 6 days a week. That was the reason also why I left contracting to consulting. Because of the long work, 6 days working and working more than my 8 hours with no overtime.
I worked with a consultant as well for 3 years. Also 6 days a week.
No.
Yes.
Really? Yeah. No, for me, no. My new office, strict. I come 8, I leave 5. Friday, Saturday off.
Consultant, that's nice. Like you're an on-site consultant. You're supervising the contractors. What buildings?
So the office, I recently just joined the office. It's like in September, I'll finish a year. But the office started as for villas and interior design, and then when you're designing for a client person, he always wants to change. His wife wants to change.
Yep.
Everyone has a taste. It's a mess. And then they tell you, no, I don't have money now. I'll pay later. Well, there's always an issue. So my boss, she changed the office from residential and interior design to be factories. Okay? So we're now certified modern certified office to design and supervise factories in the first industrial, first sector, only in the industrial.
They're better clients, aren't they?
Yeah, because it's complicated.
Yes, it's much. Yeah, when you in my experience, when you deal with a private individual, they're constantly changing. I remember some projects, they spent like a year on the design. It's still working out. And then they're like, I'm done with this. You guys don't know what you're doing. They just leave it.
We've had a project that's been with the office. So the office started 5 years ago. It's still in the office for 5 years. It's a villa, and still until now it's not done.
That's a record.
Design, design.
That's a record.
And look, every single employee in the office has worked on it. Everyone, even me, when I first joined, any new employee has worked.
Yeah. You know what you should do if you ever consider going back to residential? Work at real estate companies. Right? Right. And they'll do like developments. They'll be like, okay, I need one house and we're going to multiply like 15 times.
Yeah.
Those guys, they just want the design quick, bust it out, let's go build it. So these private individuals will just like, it's just gonna stretch it. For whatever reason, they'll just stretch it. Like money needs to be one, other one just indecision. You just can't make up their mind.
Or it just disappeared. So
Yeah.
it wasn't the Or if it's interior design and actual client is a mother or an old mother, she'll keep. No, I don't like it. No children. No children. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess. But there are offices that they have branches here, Riyadh, Jeddah, and they have clients even outside of Saudi Arabia that have been successful. Yeah. So and I think that the type of client also depends on the owner, because most of his clients are his friends and family and his connections, right? So if their client has money and it doesn't matter for him 1,000 or riyal, so he's spending a lot of money, it wouldn't really matter to him. That's why some offices have a lot of projects and some doesn't.
Networking, huh? That's how you get any job.
But okay, let's go back to
Alright, your questions. I didn't look at any of these questions, by the way, so it's all a surprise.
okay. But let's start with the juicy one: comics versus manga.
Okay, what about it? What was my stance?
Yeah. Drawing, illustrating.
Whatever you like. I'm not a snobby guy.
Because I've seen on your Instagram, it's mostly cartoon comics, right?
It's if you take influence, it's mostly Western American, specifically Marvel comics. I grew up in Marvel comics, and I have that style. And there's a little bit of manga, a little bit of it. I got into that in my teens. I remember I like the way they drew the hair. so I try to use that. The face structure. I like how the face of a woman like manga. So I use that in my art.
Big eyes.
Not too much the big eyes, but just like the cheeks, the pointy chin. They're really good. I like that. So, but mostly it's my influence is comics.
What's your favorite character? What's
These
your
days-
favorite Marvel character?
So first, I got to preface by saying like I haven't read comics in like 15, 20 years. I've left a long time ago as well in college. College kind of made me. It's kind of like, I don't know, like architecture just made me just not enjoy entertainment anymore.
Just work.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm trying to get back, but I don't have that same passion. I can't get into comics. I read it, it's not there. Sometimes it's there. Not. But anyways, like so if you say what's my favorite character, means what's my favorite character 20 years ago. Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man. Wolverine. Those two really cool. I used to read them all the time. X-Men was huge. X-Men.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wolverine.
Yeah. Love the Batman. My all-time favorite was Superman. That was the first comic I ever read. And I remember it was in our library had a library in the rec center, and it was this big thing. Yeah, the amazing library. And there was this big Superman book. It was this big, all reprints. The first Superman issue to like the most current. This key issues. I think it was like 500-600 pages. And I was like 6 years old. I didn't even understand. I couldn't even read it, but I just loved looking at the pictures. Like, this is amazing. What is this about? Like, the covers, like this one Superman cover where he's half ape and half human. Like, what is? I can't wait till I can learn how to read. So I can wrote the stories about it. 6 years old. It was my library that really got me to comics. They had a bunch of reprints from there, and over the years, because I had brothers and sisters that lived went to America. They moved there as well. They currently live there. They would send comics back. That's how I got into it. That's how I was able to read here. So I was born here. I've lived here my whole life.
Why delivery? Why not in the States?
It's kind of hard. I mean, the visa issues, you know. Yeah, it's not kind of.
So it's really interesting how a hobby or a career path starts from childhood.
Yeah.
How when you opened your first comic, you like drawing, being an artist, and even for me, how I suddenly joined architecture or studied architecture was when I was young. I was fascinated by buildings.
By yourself.
That's it.
You just look at a building like, wow.
Yeah, I would just every time we used to travel because my father used to work a lot and my mother, so we always go out. Go out at night. So at night in the car, I sit in the back seat and I just look out the window and just admire buildings. And I used to, even from a young age, I used to tell myself, how did they construct this? Why did they design this? And I have a lot of questions.
Wow. See, you're meant to be an architect.
Yeah.
Because I never asked myself these questions, ever. Ever. I never looked at a building like, wow.
Do you want to know a funny story?
Yeah.
I'm not an architect. I'm a building engineer.
What's the difference?
So, an architect focuses more on actual design, the concept, how the idea of the building comes up, right?
Yes.
I'm the same thing, but minus that. But I focus on everything else related to the building. So I know I studied structure, electricity, statistics, plumbing, HVAC, energy, sustainability, everything else but that. So I took like all the 10 design studios. Okay, we'd finished the architecture.
10 design studios.
Yeah.
Wow. That's an architect.
Yeah. And the first bit is always to redraw the building, so not actually get the concept, site analysis. No, just to find the building, draw it, and then implement the buildings.
Okay. So I have a question. You have all these disciplines. I mean, what's your role? Because there's already an electrical engineer, there's already a mechanic, and so on. What's your role? Because you have a knowledge in all of these.
That's very good. And you know, the problem is that because I studied everything, I can work in whatever field I choose, so I feel comfortable. So I have friends who work in the electric company. I have friends who are working in Aramco as a structural engineer. I have friends who are architects. For me right now, I'm working as a safety and a safety engineer, firefighting and safety. So my company, the factories we design, so I'm responsible for all the safety and firefighting for that building. And even in university, we have an elective for fire and safety. So because I have that, and my background for that, and they had this vacancy in the office, so they told me to take that.
Cool. All right. Building engineering, that's a new field, right? Yeah. It wasn't offered in my college when I was there.
You know, it's under the College of Architecture. It's 5 branches: building engineering, architecture, interior design, landscape, and planning.
Okay. Where does civil engineering come? It's outside?
Yeah, in the College of Engineering.
College of engineering. Very interesting. Yeah, you're meant to be learning music. You have a passion for it. I was just forced into it. I didn't have a choice.
Why didn't you go to Italy and study Picasso or Michelangelo?
Okay, the truth is, like, really, I was actually a dropout in high school. I flunked out of high school when I was 17. I was a problem child.
You don't seem, you seem really down to earth and nice guy.
No, I was a real problem child. The stories I can tell you.
Go ahead, tell me.
All I know is I remember the last day of school, the second last day, our coordinator, Mr. Dennis Cowell, brought me to his office. This is grade 11. I didn't even go to grade 12. I flunked out grade 11. There's this thing called A-levels. You heard of it?
Yeah.
British stuff.
Yeah.
British exam.
I took the IGs, but I didn't take it.
Yeah, I took that as well. I used to see those. And he asked me, he's like, so what's your plan next year? Because like, the plan is I'm going to go to university. It's KVP, that's the plan. Are you good? Like 100%? I was like, I haven't been accepted yet, but you know, most likely. He's like, most likely. I'm like, yeah. He's like this. He put his hand on this. He's like, no. I remember the second last day of school, I got caught burning the school wall. I took a lighter. I was in the common room and I asked my friend Santa, like, we were just waiting for the bus to come. We had our own common room. I'm like really bored. I'm like, Santa, can you hear a lighter? Just want to play. Just pass it. He's like, no, you're gonna get in trouble. I'm like, I swear I'm gonna get in trouble. What's gonna happen? So he gave me the lighter, and I think it was fresh. It took like a few months, so it was still flammable. And I'm just like, and it caught on fire, but it would go out after a few seconds. And it was really, really cool. Like I just go like this, and it was like this flame on the wall, and I did one like that, and the door burst open, and the physics teacher he went ballistic.
Is this here?
Yeah, no, I went to Manarasha either, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then Khobar somewhere here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he went crazy. He was another one. He spoke to the principal, and he said that he goes where I go. That was his conditions.
Shit.
Actually, I was a real problem child. I was very hyperactive, just always looking for attention. Attention-starved child.
Why?
My older sister has a theory. It's because actually from a big family, we're 10 kids, 5 boys, 5 girls. Yeah, and I'm the middle one. You know, there's no middle of an even number, but I was like number 6, 4 above me. That's the theory. It makes the most sense. I've mellowed out.
But that's amazing to have 10 siblings.
Yeah. They're all, I'm the only one here left. They all left. Yeah, they all left. My parents left. They just left me here. Which is fun by me. I like getting like super fast. When I was 15 years old, everyone, all my older brothers and sisters, they left to the US because they were born, but they had the US citizen. I was born here, so I didn't guess that. I don't have the mobility.
Okay.
But I was so happy to go this one now. I can just be myself.
Go to everyone.
Yeah, just be myself. I was in the school bus, and I just felt so cool.
So was your dad teaching?
He was a professor. Professor of physics. He retired in 2017. He came in Team Leader 1. Yeah, he was there for 36 years.
Did it ever come to your mind that, okay, my dad's a physics teacher or professor, so
Yeah.
why did I study physics? Why did I?
I hated physics. I hated science. I hated school. I hated the whole learning process, everything. It was after I left university, graduated, when I found that learning was so much fun. It really is.
Yeah, that's correct. Learning by yourself on your own time, when you're interested, it's fun.
Yeah, sure, but it was more like I think that I wasn't. The way they taught me wasn't very appealing. Just, here's information, absorb it, and I'm going to ask you later on. There's nothing that's interesting about that. Like, physics is right now I'm really interested because I love watching YouTube videos.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I'm a huge Neil deGrasse Tyson fan. Huge fan. I listen to his audiobooks constantly. Last book I read by, what's his name? That guy who died a few years ago.
The handicap?
Yes, I forgot his name. He wrote one really interesting book. His name is.
Yeah, I know.
It was like kind of like a history of the universe. I'm not just going blank thinking about it.
Like, he said that he does not believe in God. He believed in science so much, he said there's no God.
Sure, yeah. Most physicists are like that. Most astrophysicists are like that.
Let's go.
Yeah. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, how do you like it?
I watched every single video from Neil deGrasse Tyson.
My little brother, though, he's a physicist. He went in my father's footsteps. He's in Germany right now doing his PhD, I think. Yeah, he started like 5 years ago, then he quit it like after a year, but then he jump-started it again recently, a year and a half ago. He's on track, he's gonna finish it. He's the guy I go to and have any kind of weird question about physics. He clues me in.
Oh,
Yeah, some like the comics. I wrote this one comic about 10 years ago. There's like a planet, okay, and it's a rock it's a rock concert on this planet, and the ground just disappears, and everyone's falling down a tube that goes from one end of the planet to the other end. So I asked him a question: what happens? So you're falling. What happens when you reach the other end? And he's like, it's a pendulum. It's basically the same concept as a pendulum.
yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's cool. So then I made a storyline. It's a rock concert going from one end of the earth to the other end. And as you're falling, there's like pills and stuff they take and they consume. And we're having the most wildest trip ever. Yeah, he's my go-to guy. When I ask him any science question. See, that's what I mean. Like, physics is so amazing. Like, it was after I left, after I finished university, that I found out what physics really is. It's an explanation of the universe, of the world. Before I thought it was like, the way they present me, here I'm gonna throw this ball, what's its velocity at this point? Like, who cares what's its velocity? Why would I even care? Why is that even interesting? Like, no, you can do so many things that explains the world around us. Like, with that knowledge, you can send a rocket to the moon.
Yes.
Who do you think is the smartest man in history? I have no answer. Yeah, ever.
Nicholas Tesla.
Overrated. Overrated. Why?
Like, another one. What's the guy who created the light bulb?
Thomas Edison. Even more overrated. You should really look into his history.
Elon Musk.
Probably the most overrated. You're just getting more overrated to go down. I am not impressed by Elon Musk. I have this conversation with my friend Salahie, and I told him, like, Elon Musk is borderline a fraud. He's not an engineer.
No, yeah, look, he's a smart guy. He's smart, autistic. Yeah.
He's really smart when he's doing on Twitter.
Look, for the guy to make a company called SpaceX, to shoot rockets to Mars, and to do all that, and for himself to not be a space engineer, or what's it called, aeronautics engineer,
Okay.
and to just open the textbook, study it, and understand it all by himself, that's genius.
But he didn't. I don't think he did. I don't think he opened any textbook. I think he just hired engineers and he said, "Go build." I don't think he had any role whatsoever.
No, I disagree.
What role did he have? I don't know, but from what I read, looks like he had no role in anything. He's done, I think, only 3 patents as an engineer. He's only developed, and none of them are engineering. Like one was like a spoiler for a car. Another one's like a USB outlet.
What about the rocket that was able to shoot and then land back down the same way it went?
Yeah, I mean, how involved was he?
He owns the company.
Yeah, as a businessman, he just owns it. He just, he's got deep pockets. He funds it. But from what I have learned is that he just hires brilliant people like Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
He's not an inventor. He's not an engineer. He's a businessman, a shrewd, unethical businessman. Even you can say, very unethical.
This guy, the light bulb guy.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah. Read about it. He was a ruthless businessman. He had a smear campaign against your buddy Nikola Tesla, ruined his reputation. He would. I'll give you one example of how he actually hurt development of technology. So there's AC, there's DC current, right? He was selling DC current. Okay, that was his company. Tesla came up with AC current. And AC current is far more superior when it comes to providing electricity to cities, to blocks. You can have just like one generator and it will supply like neighborhoods. DC, no, you need to put one in every street. Yet, no one bought Teslas. Everyone bought Edison's because of the smear campaign. He convinced everyone that AC current is dangerous. He brought animals on stage. He electrified elephants, killed animals. And look how dangerous it is. And he did more smear campaign. It took until 1960 for America to realize, oh man, we were too late. AC was the way to go. That's 50, 60 years of wasting energy. Why? Because the guy just wanted to be rich. And I'm an environmentalist. So that's just one example. He's a horrible man. And overrated.
To answer your own question,
Yeah.
who is the smartest physicist?
Person, let's say. I'll give you my top 3. Okay, and I'm not sure. It's either
You?
after me. Okay. Probably it's a tie between. I'm not sure. One day it could be Isaac Newton, another day it could be. Could be Einstein.
The Apple guy.
Yeah, because Newton, he was a genius. He figured things out. Like, how the planets move, the equations,
Gravity.
all that stuff. He figured it out, and people couldn't. They were just stumping. They couldn't figure out the motion of the planets, whatever equation came in. And like on a one guy that knew him, he's like some scientist. He's like 24, 23 years old. He's in Cambridge, I think. And he wrote him a letter, and the guy's like, yeah, actually, I know the answer to that. He's like, he showed him his work, and he's like, this is genius. You need to publish this. I'll publish it for you.
Yeah, I remember a story.
Second would be Einstein.
Well deserved.
Yeah, these two guys are just so big. But I'll give you one really good example of why Einstein could be better. Because so Newton's equations explain the motion of all the planets, except for one, Mercury. It didn't work. His equations failed. He could not predict the motion of Mercury. He tried and tried and tried. At the end, he's just like, he gave up. He's like, I leave it to God. Only God. He's a very religious, deeply religious person. He's like, this is a secret that only God knows. But then Einstein, 150 years later, he figured it out. That's what he said. Special theory, general theory of relativity. He figured out that the reason why he can't is because it's so close to the sun that the Earth's gravity warps it, and now he need a new equation. And it's not sorry, the new equation is more like his equation, the general theory of relativity. how would you say it, like Newton's law of motion is like a subset of it. You know, it still works. Like you can derive it, and of course it works. We send, like I said, we send people to the moon using those equations. It's not like they don't work. It's just that Einstein covers everything so far. It fails in black holes. It just falls apart. That yet you get to find someone who figured that out. The third guy I would put probably Archimedes. He was pretty smart. And here's something really cool. There's some Archimedes. This is really cool. He came up with the buoyancy. He came up with a bunch of stuff. I forgot what. I really forgot. It was some really cool equations. I think not Pythagoras. He actually wrote 3 books. 2 of them are lost in time. We've only recovered 1.
Oh.
So all that stuff that we know, these laws and these equations, they're all from one of his books. So imagine if we had all 3 of them. How advanced we'd be. That's why this guy is crazy genius. The guy who came up with Eureka, he figured out that it was in his bathtub. He figured out, I think, the buoyancy law. He just jumped out, screaming Eureka, and ran out the street naked. He was ecstatic.
Imagine even all the notes. You know the library of Cairo?
Yes, yeah.
What was it?
In Alexandria.
Alexandria.
That one was
All
awesome.
the knowledge lost.
Sure. Makes you think.
Very interesting. Have you seen the new, since you're an architect, have you seen the new design for the library of Alexandria or Cairo? The one designed a couple of years ago, where it was like a semi-sphere, and it was curved towards the sun. A very nice design.
Okay. Any big name architect?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Sure.
Also, I forgot who designed.
What are your favorite architects? If you have it.
None, but my favorite until now, of course, Hadid, which is Arab,
Yeah.
Iraqi.
Yes.
And there's one guy, what's his name? The old guy.
There's a lot of guys.
Fat old guy.
Fat old guy?
Yeah. What's his name? Allah?
Is he alive or?
Yeah. He has a master class.
Oh, not Frank Gehry. He's not that
Frank Gehry, yeah, I think Frank Gehry.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Really? The Guggenheim guy. Guggenheim, the museum. Deconstruction architecture.
Not you.
But he's very old. Now I'm really curious. I need to know who this guy is. I don't want to be fat. It's funny. I don't become fat.
Maybe it's like wide.
But a lot of them. Here's the funny thing about I've noticed about architecture. Aside from compared to all the other disciplines, all the other fields like science, math, and so on, all their greatest work in the sciences is something that they did in their 20s when they were young men. When they're awarded a Nobel Prize, yes, they're an old man, but it's for research that they did when they were 25, 24 years old. Almost all of them. Einstein did everything before he was 30. Or mid-30s, maximum. Newton as well. I think 26. He didn't do anything after 26. He did amazing things. Architecture is different. It's when you're in your 50s, that's when you start getting recognized. It's very strange. I don't know why.
You need a lot of experience, and then you make art pieces, and then you
I think I've only theories, but I think when it comes to sciences and math, your brain needs to think at such a hyper level. It needs to process information. It needs to be so creative. But architecture is a different kind of creativity that needs experience.
Yes.
That needs it's a problem solving thing. So you keep solving problems, and then you get quicker to that solution. That's why you recognize when they're in the 50s and 60s. All the Pritzker Prize winning architects were all awarded when they were 50s, 60s, 70s for work that they did in their 50s and 60s and 70s. But that's not the case with the Nobel Prize winners. It's like probably even their careers even shorter than an athlete. Like if you're an athlete, you can solve a career in your 30s. You know, Michael Jordan won a title when he was 35. Not as a scientist. The brain deteriorates faster than the body. Did you believe that?
Well, guys.
Yeah.
You know, it's a funny thing you mentioned experience. Because when I graduated, I thought I was like a big shot. I know everything.
Yeah.
I graduated with honors. I'm better than everyone. And then I start working and I'm nothing. I know nothing. Everyone's better than me. It's like, okay, in school, I worked my way up to grade 12. I'm the oldest. Then I graduate. University, same thing. I made my way until 5th year. I'm the oldest. I'm senior. I'm the best. And then same thing. Graduate. I went back to square one.
Oh wow.
I'm first year working again, zero, and just with my experience.
Exact opposite. I was always the worst. Bottom of my class. I graduated with I barely graduated university. Just
How? With all of this, how?
I just wasn't interested. It really didn't interest me. I really hated it.
But did you what's it called? Like, did you join competitions? Because there's a lot of competitions here. A lot of competitions. Concepts, just concepts.
I did do a few competitions. I mean, in university we did do one my third year. We actually
It's usually group work. Right?
yeah, it was me and my two buddies, my two classmates, Salahie and Khalid. We actually came first place. It was sponsored by a real estate company, so
Yes.
there was some cash money as well.
Yes.
And so that one came first. But it was more like everybody else was so bad, we were just not as bad as they were.
Oh.
Like looking back at it, our design was ugly. It was
No.
really ugly. But we fulfilled the clients' needs. The clients, the competition was designed an affordable house. We did that. We actually developed with using, using things like that. Like shared walls. I forgot overall, it was a very plain, ugly looking building. We didn't fulfill that. Everyone else, they did do that. But it was so expensive. It wasn't free. It was like high income families, so they couldn't use it. So I remember we won that, and I won another one as well. My fourth year was this one was a whole college. It was a design and exhibition space and easily transportable exhibition space. And we came up with a genius idea. It was so good. Our whole exhibition, it could be assembled, disassembled by one guy, carried by one guy, who put in the back of your car, and that's it. You know how we figured it out? The walls where you stick, because it was an exhibition for universities, so they wanted to display all the student work.
Okay.
They wanted to take it to malls and places like around colleges to display the work, and we wanted to be really easy to take from one place to the other. So the first step was we made the walls just canvas, just canvas material, so we could fold it up.
Okay.
That's one thing. So it's not heavy. One guy can just carry it. The support was a metal rod, like an antenna, a radio antenna.
Yeah.
So just folds like that. All in one hand was carried. Boom for the head.
So it's like a tent.
It's a tent. That's it. So we just folded around and we came first place.
Really?
Yeah, and I remember one group did brick walls. It looked really nice, but that's all
Can you
we
take bricks?
But I don't think it was real bricks, but like faux bricks, fake bricks. But still, like, why even? It's still a lot of trouble. You need like 3-4 guys to carry a van to transport it.
You know, I have friends. So I graduated last year. I still have friends who don't work, but actually just compete. Obviously, they work in groups, and any competition there is, they just compete.
Global, international,
Local.
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 Nice. That is one way to becoming a star architect, a world famous architect. Probably the easiest way. Winning competition. I remember my boss told me that when I was working under him back in 2015. So we participated in the project sponsored by UNICEF.
Oh, okay.
And it took place in my home country, Afghanistan. They wanted to create a cultural center for it. And it was me, my boss, and his colleague from Australia. We didn't win. We didn't come close. There's like 125 participants. I did see the winning guy was a team from Brazil. It was actually kind of nice. But he told me this. He's like, this is one way of becoming. Keep winning projects. Keep winning projects. That's how you get recognition. Star architect. My favorite architect these days is that Finnish architect, BRK Ingels. You can find him on like there's this Netflix series on design and art. They put one episode on him.
I think I know it. I think I know it.
If you told me the title, I'll know. I've watched that episode more than once. And I said, wow, that's what I love on this dish.
You know, actually, from my favorite architects from like not a celebrity or a very like world famous architect is actually a guy, a YouTuber. He's an American architect called 30 by 60.
I think that sounds familiar.
American guy who works like in the woods and does one or two projects a year. That guy is my dream job.
Does he build it himself?
Yeah.
Nice.
Not actual building, but yeah, he supervises the contract. When I watch him, I'm just dreaming. I'm in my element. I love him so much. And that, forget Zohdi, forget Frank Gehry. This guy, I just love him.
What's about him?
It's just the way.
But by the way, already he doesn't use any of the local. We in Saudi, which were all concrete. Just he's 100% good.
Yeah. It's just the way he. It's everything. It's so complex, but so simple.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's insane. You know, when he works, he just draws. It's simple and it's realistic, and it's not like exaggerated, and it's simple, but it's not. And then I love the way even when he with the shop drawings or the way he finishes the finished drawings and then his markings and the tags and everything is just autograph. Okay, and he doesn't like any colors. No colors. Why? His idea was every material or every project, I don't want the actual render to, let's say, stop my imagination or the client's imagination. So I'll just draw it as a texture, and then in real life, when we start drawing or constructing, we'll get the material, we'll see it in real life, and then we'll see how things work.
That's interesting. That's a really cool way.
That guy is my favorite artist.
Okay, I gotta check this guy out.
I forgot his name.
I was 30 by 50.
It's 30 by 60 or something.
I gotta check
30
him
by
out.
40.
For sure, I'm gonna check him out.
He's insane. And even because I started watching him in like my first year or second year. So even how to create models, how to create cheap models, how to start a design, how to put like elements together. It's how videography. Even I started this podcast or this filming from him. How videography or photography can improve your architecture or documenting. It's very interesting.
That's cool.
Very
I'm gonna check him out for sure.
I want to go back to our main.
Yes.
Okay, so comics and manga. Then do you still read comics? You said no. Then. Okay. Art versus architecture. I think we spoke about it enough.
Quite a lot.
Okay, where did the hobby come from? We said it. We said it from an early age.
Very rich.
Perfect. Okay, this is a nice one. Is drawing a talent or a talent or a learned skill?
Oh, that's easy. Anyone's an artist. Just like anyone can be a mathematician, anyone can be an artist. I promise you, if you spend 100 hours every month, by the end of the year, you will get an amazing artist. I just can't imagine someone spending like 1 hour a day for a whole year and still not an artist. It's just impossible. You can't. Give me anybody. I'll teach you. I'll teach you to be an artist. If you're honest, if you're really honest and you want to learn.
When I was like in my internship, one of my, let's say my boss, he was just drawing for fun. So every time in the break, he just draw something. It was a perspective. So that kind of perspective, and then they show me. And I was so impressed. So that internship, wanted to learn to draw perspective. And I actually started for like a week or two, and then I stopped. But I thought that like, it's a talent, not a skill.
Why'd you stop?
Like I said, because
You're not happy with the results?
you know,
So that discourages you. Everyone's got that wall, you just gotta break that wall. You may have broken after another 2 weeks. Who knows, but I think almost anybody can be an artist. Of course there are some artists who are so talented. I'm not talking about those guys are geniuses. But just know how to draw people.
one of my friends from school, he he used to love anime. I remember, do you know Naruto?
Oh yeah, of course. I watched that in college. Yeah.
He used to draw every single character by hand in school, and I used to be so impressed. And then I remember he won like a drawing competition or something.
Like school?
Yeah.
Nice. Where's he now?
He's still an artist. So,
Is he working as an artist?
I'm not sure. I lost touch.
So I always like to hear about this because everybody has a story where they know some guy who was an artist, or who was a funny guy who's gonna be a comedian or a writer. Almost all of them don't. It's like less than 1% actually do achieve it. And it's really hard. Entertainment is really hard to get into. Like the easy route is to go to college, get your degree in engineering or whatever, and then start working. That's the easy path. Entertainment's like very small path.
Okay, so drawing is a learned talent, or a learned skill or a talent. Okay, this is a nice one. How do you get inspiration for your next piece? So I think this is like an empty question, no?
Yeah.
So for a hobby, it will be different than for a client, right?
Yeah.
So can you speak more about the book?
The short answer is just draw. Because if your hand's moving, do something will come up. Just spit out, vomit something, whatever, and just put it on the page. The sooner you can start coming up with ideas. Something that I do sit down for a while, think. I don't play music. If I have a blank sheet of paper, I can't have this. I can't do two things at once because I love music. I can't listen to music and enjoy it and come up with an idea. So no distraction and just think of something. And then the sooner you just start drawing, faster, because something will come up eventually. I don't know how. I really don't know how, but it will come. There'll be like 5, 6 different bad ideas. Don't fall in love with your first idea.
That's my problem.
Don't fall in love. Just keep working on it. Keep developing it.
Like, I see, next question. I see you have an iPad
Yeah.
and pen and paper.
Yes.
What do you prefer, pen and paper or iPad and iPad?
So this is new. This is just this year. I just got into digital art this year. It's very hard for me to start penciling. Like on the iPad, I can, but the quality would be so bad if I just do a blank sheet here. So everything's pencil. I start off with pencil, then I take a picture on my iPad. It's got really amazing cameras, and then I ink it. The inking is so good on this. It's so easy. I learned within 2 days how to ink, and my inking on digital is far better than pencil. Than yeah. I don't know if you understand, if you know the process of comic books. When you first is a pencil,
Okay.
and then you do it by a pen.
Okay.
There was a reason for it. It was because this is like actually American comic books past. The reason was because the printing machines were so bad, so poor, they couldn't capture the pencils very well. So you would have to an embellisher would come in, some guy with an ink brush, and go over with ink. Then the printing press could capture the drawing really well. Today, the technology is so good, we don't need to ink. We can have a beautiful pencil renderings. But we still do, because there's something about inking, it's its own style. I love it, but the absolute of just 0, 1, black, white. Where was I going with this?
Inking and
Yeah, so there first be a penciler, then there'd be an inker, then there'd be a colorist, and then there'd be a letterer. These are 4 people. It's like an assembly line. And then there's a letterer. And the whole thing's supervised by an editor. An editor's more like a project manager. He just manages the whole thing. And then finally it goes to the press, to the printing press. Some countries different. Like European, I've noticed they're more like a 1 or 2 man job. But American comics are more like an assembly line. Japanese can be even more of an assembly line. Their studios are really very diverse. I think Akira, if you remember that old 1980s, it's pretty good. Probably more. I was learning about it, like they had one artist who just draw the buildings, another one was doing the vehicles, doing the weapons, another artist for the weapons. This was really specialized, and it shows, it really shows, because it's so much detail in each piece of weapon or whatever. The Europeans different. Tintin.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Now, later on became a studio. It was more one guy, Perge. Asterix was two people that light art artists. There are some European artists. My favorite European artist, Mobius, French guy. Yeah, he was pretty nice.
Wait, so you're talking about digital or pencil and paper. So have you what about computer? I've known people use like Adobe Illustrator.
Yeah, I use Adobe Fresco.
Oh, okay.
It's a new program. It's really cool, really good, very easy.
Photoshop,
A little bit Photoshop, not that advanced in it.
Lightroom,
No, that's not. Just Fresco. That's all I use for it.
Fresco.
I just ink. I only ink, and I'm teaching myself how to color. I'm kind of good at it. The camera can't show, so I can't. Right? I can't show you examples.
I'm just like later on.
Okay, yeah, I'll show you examples of ink work, this and how it's.
Very interesting.
These are some of the books I've published in the last few years. Children's book. I have my own children's book series. Those are the last 3 books.
Wait, this is you?
Yeah, that's my name. My third book is
I've seen this on your Instagram.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
And I've seen this on more than Instagram. How long did it take you to?
This one was like 3 months when I got the script till it was finished.
This was like
Last year.
personal project?
No, this was I was hired. I was commissioned by Mark Yearser. He's an old friend of mine. He's an Australian writer. He publishes a lot of books, and he wanted to do children's books. So we did 5 in total. The last one came out in December 2022.
So do you get a cut from the now?
Well, no, it was more like I had a page rate, so I charge for the page rate, per page.
Oh, okay. And did you work on the story together?
The last 3, I kind of helped out a little bit. It's mostly. He does ask me for feedback. Quite often he asks for feedback. I do give it to him. Like for this 3rd book, it's about animals going extinct, and she goes around the world trying to save animals. I came up with the suggestion, he should have a koala with him, a cute koala, animal, just with him in the adventures. I actually suggested an animal. He liked the idea of an animal tag along. It helps with exposition. Someone you can talk to.
Yeah.
And if it ever goes, whoever's sell the TV rights or something, it's good merchandising idea. A cute little koala stuffed animal.
That would be really nice.
Yeah, seriously, it's all in merchandise, all filmed with film. That's where the money's at. There's no money in comic books or publishing. It's very hard to make money, very hard. The money is when you sell that to the movie studio.
Like Disney.
Yeah, when they buy like a novel, could go for like $1 million if a Hollywood studio buys the film rights. $1 million, $2 million, depending on how successful they think it will be, or also how good your agent is. If he's really good at
So
negotiating.
even in this industry, you need an agent?
Oh yeah, for sure. It really does help.
Do you have an agent?
No, I'm not that big or busy. I'll only hire an agent once I have too much work. Once the business side takes me away from the art side, then I'll be forced to hire an agent.
Okay.
But at this point, no, I'm good. I don't need one.
So what do you do exactly? Business point of view.
People told me to draw, and I just draw for them.
That's-
But I am working on my own story, because I really always wanted to create my own stories. And I have something like this year. I don't have any more of these books to do. So I've been working on my own stories. I don't want to talk about it until it's finished, because I'll kill the momentum. Also, in a couple of months, I have a business partnership with some local business here. They're going to open in September a music and arts training center. The company's called Creative Visions.
No, I don't.
They're really small.
I don't.
They just came up like this year. This was through some friends, and we're just going to be giving classes, and I'll be in charge of the whole arts department. But there'll be music, there'll be culinary, dancing, yoga, all kinds of stuff. So that one's going to be like a full-time job for me. That's in 2 months.
Back to corporate?
Yeah, but the thing is, at least now I'm managerial. And it'll be pure art. So this is something that's, I actually want to do, rather than architecture, which was just kind of forced into it.
What was the best project you worked on?
Architecture or art?
No, art.
Art, the best project. I don't know. I did a mural last year for the World Cup in King Abdullah.
What's a mural?
The mural was a painting on a wall. Okay, you paint on a wall. I did one for the. So you were in Riyadh, you came from Riyadh, right?
Yeah, yeah.
King Abdullah Financial District.
Yeah.
I won a bid for the World Cup. There was they were doing like a World Cup event on the roof of one of the buildings there.
Okay.
So they wanted a mural on it was like 130 meters squared.
Wow.
Yeah, that one.
That's big.
Yeah, that one was fun. I did that one.
So that's what you call that's
Spray paints, acrylics.
graffiti, right?
You can say graffiti. Graffiti is a type of mural. Because when you hear graffiti, you hear more like logos.
Yeah.
Or like Banksy, where he's not really drawing, but he's stenciling. Like he doesn't draw those on the wall. He has like how to explain stenciling?
Like a cutout.
He cuts it out. He just sprays it. So it's like a very detailed, but done in like 2 seconds. Like under 2 minutes and stuff. And you have to be really fast because the cops are gonna catch you. You gotta run quick.
Okay.
That's
do
graffiti.
you know a guy, a really famous guy on Instagram called Alec Monopoly?
Monopoly?
Yeah.
No.
Kamal is a graffiti guy.
Graffiti guy?
And his sign is like the Monopoly character with money.
Okay.
That's his name. So
Alright.
that's why I was introduced to graffiti.
Okay.
And his signature move was he doesn't show his face. So every time he takes pictures like this.
So his identity is unknown.
It was, but now it's not.
Okay. Banksy's still unknown. There was a documentary for Banksy like more than 10 years ago. Exit Through the Gift Shop. If you're interested in Banksy. Yeah, well, that's how I got introduced to this work. Yeah, he's an interesting character too.
Wow. Okay. Pen and paper, iPad done. Okay, realistic cartoons done. Like, okay. NFTs. Non-fungible tokens.
Yeah,
Cryptocurrency.
as you know, I'm completely against NFTs. They do nothing. They don't offer any benefit, and you're just hurting the environment. Why? Because the mine uses a lot of energy, electricity, just to have that URL, just have that website. Right?
Yeah.
So it does nothing. It's useless. I think the only benefit is it's just money laundering for crooks to launder money. That's it. Other than that, what else does it do?
It's you can say you can sell hype.
Sell hype?
Yeah.
As if that's a good thing.
Like you could say it's a different mean of showing your artistic side.
At the expense of the environment, and it's
So
also
what?
that's a big so what. There's got to be better ways. There's got to be better ways. No, I'm not convinced. Go on, what else?
That's it.
Yeah. No, I mean, what are the benefits for NFTs?
Making money. You can showcase your art form on a different medium.
Yeah.
You know? And to have an NFT, it doesn't have to be an art, it can also be a picture. Like, so do you know that one of all my architecture projects, final, I uploaded as an NFT.
Okay. Is it still running? Is it your, you own it?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me tell you that no one bet a single dollar on it until.
Yeah. You gotta have a name, you know?
And you have to market it and show people.
So, yeah, I'm just not convinced by it.
It's still there.
Not convinced by it. It's like I said, the value is going down. Eventually, you just realize it's just.
I have friends who have made money, so it's just like full of the hype. Then some people actually like own it when it's like still a new project, and then when it like pops up or becomes famous, then they sell. So it's just for money. Nothing more. Some people, yeah.
Well, the whole concept of money itself is really not cool. The stock market, I don't know why there's a stock market. I don't understand it. It's all pretend money, right? Isn't that what stock means? Like, it's not real money, isn't it?
It's not really.
It's not currency.
Correct, but it's from my understanding, it's you own a share of the company with real money.
Yes.
So that's a concept of stock.
I never understood.
It's just
I watched The Wolf of Wall Street, Martin Scorsese's movie, and that's when I figured, oh, it's not real money. Get it now. It's all like, yeah, it's anything to do with money. Okay, I should say it's but money does corrupt people. I've heard that even if you just talk about it or even show it, just imagine you can edge towards being evil. It can influence you. So that's not good for NFTs.
So it's still legal.
Completely yes. You're just destroying the environment over a website, over URL. Like if it offered something unique, I would understand. But it's not offering anything. I can get that image anywhere else. Get an email, like take a screenshot.
It's collectibles. Okay, some of them are actually fun. So do you know like baseball cards, football cards?
Yes. Yeah,
It's collectibles.
Yeah, I know.
So I used to have like a big collection of football cards, soccer. The same thing with NFTs. So imagine like there's one character, okay? It has like 5 faces, 5 accessories, 5 colors, 5 expressions, okay? And a couple of them are just like one of one rare pieces. So it's also like fun having collectibles and then there's hype around it.
You know, maybe I'm too old. You know what I mean? When concepts are, when they're new, you know what? There's this writer, Douglas Adams. He says something really interesting. He's like, when you're 5 years old, everything, the technology around you, it's just part of the natural world. This is how it's always been and always will be. When you're 20 years old, anything new that comes out is cutting edge, and you're like on top of everything. This is amazing, and change the world. And then once you hit 40, anything new that comes out is against the nature of the world. This is wrong. You know? I don't want this. You know, I'm going through that phase right now, probably.
But I'm just like it's just saying counter arguments. I'm trying to like to tickle your mind.
You are right. It is a collectible. Like I used to collect them as well, and there is no point for it. When I had a basketball card, there was no point to it as well. You could say the same thing to the NFTs. It wasn't a problem. And this also did harm the environment. And a tree has to die for that. You know.
Look, anything. If you're thinking about the environment, anything could be. Could harm the environment or harm the environment.
The thing is, like, you should draw the line somewhere. You're not going to draw the line in NFTs.
Not crypto.
No. Even crypto, I think that's kind of silly.
I think crypto's the future.
Could be.
Right now, a lot of one of the major big companies in the States, I don't know what, just bought like 1,000 bitcoins or something, which equates to like a couple $1 billion of Bitcoin, which is insane.
Yeah.
Which is insane. And if massive companies are actually invested in it, so it's probably worth something. It could be worth something. The Ecuador, their currency failed, so their actual national currency now is Bitcoin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they pay through Lightning Bitcoin.
There you go.
So I do think for for nations that are suffering from civil war or whatever, Bitcoin is the solution.
You're right. I don't like to give predictions because most people get predictions are always wrong.
Do you want to know a funny story?
Yeah.
I'm an advocate for cryptocurrencies, right? But I've lost 10,000 riyals to cryptocurrencies.
You could still be right. You could still be right.
I have a couple more questions I want to get through. Just student, okay. Business and art we've done. Okay, I have 4 more questions. Telling a story through art.
Okay.
What can you say about that?
Tell a story. Wow. Okay. Like first of all, like just because you know how to draw and you know how to draw realistic does not mean you know how to tell a story. That's 2 different things. When you want to get a job for, let's say, Marvel Comics or any comic book company, they're not just looking at your art. They want to know, can you tell a story? If I read this page, do I know what's happening? You know, like, okay, so Spider-Man's changing into his costume. You read the whole page and there's no question like, oh, what's going on here? You know? None of that. It's
about expressions.
Facial expression. That's a way of telling a story. Yes. Yeah, that's an A. You have to know. You have to know facial. The more you know, the better. You know? Like my favorite cartoon when I was a kid was this disgusting cartoon when it's really gross. It was like toilet humor.
Red Captain Underpants?
That was I was an adult when that came out.
Oh, okay.
But I did read it even as an adult. I did. So I'm familiar with Captain Underpants. I think it's my little brother's reading. My little brother's still a child. But Ren and Stimpy was this Nickelodeon cartoon that came out in the early 90s. The head of the studio, the creator, John Crickfalusi, he had this rule in the studio to not ever repeat the same facial expression. Every facial expression has to be used, has to be different. So you know how challenging it is for an animated cartoon, a 20-minute animated cartoon? They did 2 seasons, like 40 episodes. Never repeat the same episode. If you watch it, it's just so diverse, so varied. You know, like that's when you learn that wow, you can pull up so many expressions. Just to say, like just one expression of being surprised, he did maybe 40 different types of way of being surprised. Like eyes shooting out, you know, teeth like mouth everywhere, body language as well.
Wow.
Yeah. That's really cool. So facial expressions, like you can have a whole semester learning.
I'm curious. Sometimes when I look at building, okay, I can see it like in an X-ray vision. Okay, I know this is what's that. Okay, there's columns here. Okay, you know, as an artist, what do you see when you see something, or when you see an object? Do you like visualize? Okay, draw this here. Okay, the perspective, the color. What do you see?
When I see something, I don't know.
Like, do you like does the picture stick in your brain? So when you draw, do you imagine it, or does it stick in your brain?
I'll tell you one thing. You know, if you want to be a good artist, you have to be observational.
That's my question.
You should always wherever you are, just observe things. Just look at how things look like. I draw a lot of nature. Love drawing nature. So when I'm sitting down in someone's backyard, I'm looking at a tree. I'm looking at how the tree looks from this angle. And the branches go up like this. And how does the shadow of the sun's up there? So I think of all these things, and I think it's really essential. Like the number 1 rule to be an artist is always draw. I think the number 2 is be observational. Always study, look at things. Yes, you're right. You should break it down. You should look at things. Look at the way the clothes fold. You have to know
the shadows.
Yeah.
Next question. Okay, telling a story done. Like, dream job, future.
Oh, in the future. You know what I really like to do again? I mean, for the rest of my life, I want to continue making stories and publishing them and being known for them. I want to put them out, for them to be turned into movies or whatever. That's my goal. I'm trying to get that next year or 2. But personal dream job, hopefully, I work for Marvel Comics for just a year or 2. That's it. You know, not for the rest of my life. I just want to have one of their established characters, if it was up to me, he's Spider-Man. I want to work as an artist for Spider-Man for just 1 year, 12 months. I'll get 12 issues, or 2 years. I'll get 24 issues. A standalone story. I can put on my bookshelf. Like, that was mine. So that's a dream job. Before, when I was in college, my dream job was to work in the studio with Ghibli, the one that did Spirited Away. He's a Japanese animator. If anyone knows anything about anime, they would know this guy. His movies are the highest grossing films in Japan. More than Titanic, more than anything. Actually, his films beat Titanic, right? Well, yeah, but then I saw the working conditions there. It's really, you're working morning to night. That's just something that I don't like working with a dog. There's no point. You gotta enjoy life.
Okay. But if we need to finish, last question.
Alright.
You're an artist. You draw. You like comics, and you've done graffiti, or what's it called? Murals. Why not picture your art or transition your art to clothing? Have you done that? What are your thoughts on that?
I've tried to get into I've never really.
It hasn't like struck you.
I do like the idea of people wearing my other clothes. It is a cool idea.
Let me tell you why I asked that question.
Yeah.
I have a clothing brand.
Okay.
Yeah, me and my best friend from school, we started it. It's called Utopia. And the thing is, we clash. He's very creative. He wants to put his art on he wants to make every piece of clothing. We sell t-shirts. He wants to put every single thing he has on his mind in the t-shirt. And for me, I like to be simple. So for me, my ideal design is just the logo. That's it. For him, he wants colors. So what are your thoughts on that?
I did read a little bit on it. I've noticed t-shirts, the ones that sell the most, the simpler the better. That really does sell. However, there are some artists like YouTuber Tenhan. His clothing merchandise, very detailed, really like a beautiful drawing. So he goes to another extreme. They both can work, but majority is simpler the better. Especially like an idea, logo. I don't know, but what is your friend? Is he an artist or something?
No.
So where does he? What kind of ideas does he get?
So
And how does he implement it? Did he hire someone online or something?
no, it's just us.
So he draws it himself?
No, it's so what we've been doing is we see like inspirational pictures, we like smash them together.
Photoshop?
Yeah,
and stuff?
and then it works out.
Are they just photos or
Even photos, text, lines, squares,
artwork as well?
he does that.
It could work.
One of our like unpublished ideas was 7 deadly sins. So it was 7 t-shirts, 1 sin on each t-shirt, and 5 pieces from each design. And so the t-shirt describes a sin, so like gluttony, envy. So
Okay. It's a cool idea. Have you put it out?
not it.
Okay. Are you looking for an artist to do that?
Yes.
I actually done an art piece for the 750 cents years ago for some. It was very detailed. It was commissioned. Some guy asked him. I drew him on a motorbike. I did it for your cousin.
Nice one.
His older brother.
They see it.
Yes, I did it for him.
Okay.
It was him on a motorbike with his buddies on
Harley, huh?
and Harleys are blasting through hell. He's got like a hot bake, and there's like I think the river Styx. If you know the stories, the river Styx was the river where all the people in limbo I think were walking through. I just put all the elements of the 736 because it's not from Christian lore. I think it's from Greek mythology. Homer, I think Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey. I'm talking like I'm like English literature major. I went to Wikipedia and read this. That was my research.
Science, art, together.
Right. That's a cool. We'll talk about that afterwards.
Yeah. And again, you are the first guest that I finish all my questions with. Usually we like go off topic and we start rambling about something else. But with you, we have completed officially.
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
Very good.
Really?
And look, much respect. You came on time even before. We started on time and we finished all my questions. Thank you very much for that.
This was awesome. I had a lot of fun. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
And I'd love to have you again after, or maybe when you start the exhibition.
Yes.
I'd love to have you on again.
Yeah, we can catch up when I've established some more things.
Maybe we'll film there.
Yeah. We're offering even one on interior design, and there's even gonna be one. This one is down the line, but I'm also thinking of giving like a workshop on history of architecture.
Okay.
You're an architect, something you can offer as well. You know? This is down the line, you know. If there's something that you're passionate, maybe you can teach others.
Yeah, I love teaching.
Heck, even video recording, podcast.
Yeah.
Man, I remember my first podcast was in 2006, 2005.
No, you've
Yes.
done it before?
No. The first time this is my first ever.
Okay.
The first time I ever listened to a podcast was in 2005. And it was before it got hard, before it exploded. Now everyone's just podcasting. Every celebrity. And it's funny because why it's funny is because before TV there was radio. Radio was the biggest thing. Everyone would sit around the living room and listen to it. It's like radio's coming back. There's just something so nice about sitting back and just listening to someone talk. Just an audio experience, and you can do something else. Paint, play video. I love playing video games. Do you ever try that podcast? Listen to a podcast and play video games? Are you a gamer?
Yeah.
Have you tried that?
No.
I'm telling you, it is so enjoyable. It's so therapeutic. You just put anything, any rambling idiot on, you know, and just playing video games. 2 hours go by, like, yeah, that's cool. Okay.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add to tell the audience? How can they reach you, talk to you, offer your services?
Sure. Okay. Probably the next time we meet or something, we'll be have our music and art center established by Creative Visions. It's actually very close over there, down this road.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually straight ahead, right before the my Instagram, nognicholas.com, @nognicholas. It's a silly made-up name, I just came up with it. The reason people always ask me, why do you have that name, why don't you use your name? Because at the time
I don't think I found Abdullah even.
No.
I found the comics,
Yeah.
and I found Abdullah.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. Yeah. Because I didn't want my companies that I work with to see my Instagram. People like, oh, you're a cartoonist, so you're supposed to be an engineer or something. I don't want that to interfere with them hiring me. It's a really boring world for me.
And I didn't find a single picture of him.
Yeah, I don't want.
Because I didn't know who, even when I came to the coffee shop, I didn't know who I'm meeting with.
Yeah, that's all because of just to separate those two worlds. Engineering and cartoon.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And on to the next episode, inshallah, next week.